So now we're going to talk about something called a pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scale is basically, in rock, it's like the gospel. It's always used all the time. And we're going to talk about the theory of what made the pentatonic scale, and then we're going to start playing it. Now, in the booklet, there's also other positions of playing this pentatonic scale besides the one that we're going to cover here. And we're just going to do that so we can cover all aspects of everything that we can as much time as we have here. So basically, in a pentatonic scale, as you notice in your booklet, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and that's your major scale. Now, to make a minor pentatonic scale, let's make it a minor. It would be 1, and it would be flat 3, 5, or 4, I'm sorry, 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. And then it's basically the same thing all the way down. It's the same structure. And how you pick this, now you got to watch your picking on this. Make sure that you're picking back and forth in the alternate pattern that we spoke of earlier in the tape. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. The same thing going backwards. Now I was muting that time, that's why it sounded the way it sounded. So basically you'll notice, it just kind of sounds like, oh, hum, another scale, another thing for me to learn. But if you learn that, you can just take little parts of it. Doesn't mean you have to play it all the way up and all the way down. What happens is you get to where you can tear it apart and start playing little leads inside. Like for instance this. So you just kind of do that back and forth. You get kind of a speed thing happening. Now you notice I'm doing this thing called a hammer-on. If you're not aware of a hammer-on, it's actually when you hit the note, then you hit it with your finger. You're actually making a note out of it because you're hitting it like a hammer. That's why it's called a hammer-on. So what you do is you pick in between. This is kind of a Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath used to do this. And you're picking it every time that your finger's not hitting. It's kind of weird. Now if you're picking on, now I notice I'm using my third finger and my fourth finger. You can use either or, in the sense that it's better that you get used to using all your fingers as opposed to a lot of guitar players just use their first and their third finger. I was taught a lot of jazz. Being from Vegas, I was taught by a lot of jazz musicians in a sense of using your pinky, not just being a three-finger player like a lot of these players are today. That's why I kind of alternate between the two. What we're going to do now is kind of the different bends. I'm going to teach you vibrato. Now in a bend, basically all you're doing is you're striking the note. For instance, right here, I'll do it with my third finger. You're striking the note, and then you're bending it. See how I'm doing that? Now what I'm doing is I'm actually bending it to that note. When you're bending, remember the pitch is getting higher or sharper. So I'm bending it up to that note. So basically, that kind of goes back to some of the old Jeff Beck and all the current guitar players who do this lick a lot. Okay, so what you can do by having that one also, you can add in now I choose to actually use my pinky because it's easier for me. But some people don't have the strength in their pinky to do it. That's why a lot of people use their third there. So that's one way of bending up to do a rock bend. There's also another position that you can do that in, which is you could use your first finger here on the second string. Now watch, listen. Now you can also use your pinky, which I do because my pinky's strong enough to do it. Some people's pinkies aren't strong enough to do that, but I choose to do it with my pinky. Okay, now what you can do is you can add one note to that, which is part of your pentatonic scale, which is your E flat, which is your flatted third. So we're going to do, so we're going to bend, first note, then hammer on, right? Okay, so that's how you can do one rock lick in a pentatonic scale. We're also going to do another one in a bending fashion, which is right here on the second string. You start here. What you're going to do is you're going to hit that note, but you're going to bend this string, your third string, up to this note. If you remember in the tuning aspect of this, between these two strings, that's the one that you move down to the 4th fret. That's why you're only doing it here, as opposed to, so it kind of sounds funny, like if you're doing it in the bend up here. So what you're going to do is you're going to bend up. Now what you do is, now what we're going to do is add the 4th finger in here. So we're going to bend with our 3rd. So we're going to add that note, which is B flat. And that's how we utilize the minor pentatonic scale in what we're doing. Basically, with all your scales and all the different things, it's very important for you to learn that and to learn the notes and understand the theory of it, because it'll make a big difference. I stress that probably a lot through this tape, and probably too much, but it is very, very, very important. And I think it is very important. Now, I taught for a couple of years at a music store in Las Vegas, and it made a big difference to a lot of my students when they actually understood the whole guitar neck. We're going to touch on vibrato real quickly. Vibrato is a sense of bending the note. We're going to start right here on the 10th fret. What it is you're taking the note, and there's a couple ways of vibrato. There's a violin vibrato, which is like this, which makes it kind of sing. Or there's a one where you bend the note up. See, I'm bending it up and down. You see how you bend this string? And what you do is you get used to bending, and you use that, and you'll see up in the stuff that's about to be played for you, it's Dana, myself, and Blas. All of us just playing together, jamming out, and you'll see how the pentatonic was used in the different vibrato techniques. All I can say is hope you do very well in your playing. I wish you all the best in music. Remember, music is a definite way of life, and enjoy it to the fullest. See ya.